everyone, and welcome back. I have the amazing Giang Nguyen with me today. I am so delighted to know her. I got to know her through my friends over at the investor community. We became really good friends, did a couple of projects together, and now she is part of our community here at Figure Multifamily, and she is soon to also become a coach. So I wanted to introduce you all to her. Welcome to Multifamily Live, Giang Nguyen.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Pili. So excited to be here and so excited to have this conversation with you.
So excited to have you here. So, Giang, how did you get into real estate?
Yeah, so I actually came over to the US for college back when I was 18, and I was working as a scientist after college. My path was not at all color with real estate for a while. As an immigrant, I don't know too much about real estate. I didn't even know mortgage existed. And so how my real estate journey started was there was a foreclosure, single family, just 4 blocks from where I was living at the time, when I was renting at the time. And my sister was a real estate agent, and I didn't know anything, so I wasn't scared of anything, right? Like, this foreclosure didn't have water, didn't have electricity, didn't have any HVAC. It was vacant for over 20 years. And in fact, it even had a foundation issues, but it was foreclosure. It was very close from where I was living. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's pick this up. Let's live in it as a primary. And I was figuring things out as I was going along. And it was quite a journey. Back then, I didn't have a community, Pili. I didn't have people around me in real estate that I could reach out to, that I could get help from. So I was feeling quite lonely, figuring things out, YouTubing a lot of things, to be honest, crying a lot of time, most days, but I was figuring things out. And so from there, I start, educate myself more. I start learning more about real estate. I start learning more about the power of multifamily. And so from there, I got into duplexes conversions, small multi-unit, 5 to 8 units, and now onto syndication. So that is a little bit snapshot of my real estate journey and how I got started.
I love it. I want to back up a little bit because you said, I want to dig into this because a lot of the entrepreneurial journey can be very, very lonely. How did you step over that loneliness, that moments of sadness? You said you were crying, because it's happened to me too. I'm going to be completely honest. If I'm going to ask you this question, I'm going to fess up to it. I felt that loneliness. How did you step over that and into where you are today?
Yeah, that was a great question. For me, like you mentioned, right? I was by myself. I was Googling things. I was finding things out by myself instead of asking, right? And back then, there was 2 things that was stopping me from having a community. 1, I didn't know that such community existed. 2, I was scared that if I reach out for help, 1, I wouldn't get it. And 2, there is something about like, hey, I just got to do it on my own. Like, just got to figure it out, right? So for me, what was stopping me from 1, not knowing it existed, and 2, not knowing that people would actually help. Like, I didn't know that mentors and coaches could really help me. So how I got over that was just taking that next step, right? So I start going to meetups. I start going to events. So I didn't quite see the path clearly, but what helped me getting over that is just taking that next step, going like, hey, there is an event here. Let's go to that event. Let's see what people are doing. Let's see what's available. And then from there, I found out like, hey, such community exists and people are so willing to help. People are so willing to reach back and help people behind them. And then also getting help from people ahead of them. So all of that was just stemming from saying yes to that next step, saying yes to what's available in front of me, and then just keep going from there.
That is amazing. And I want to dig into the saying yes. What was the moment that it happened to you that you said yes to multifamily, to seven-figure multifamily, when you jumped in with us and took the next steps? And feel free to share your first syndication as well.
Yeah. Man, that was less than a year ago. And it felt, that was that amazing yes that I said. So you guys was holding seven-figure multifamily live, right? So that was how I got the first taste of what you guys was throwing together, even in just a virtual event. And then when you guys had that first in-person multifamily live, I was like, heck yes. Like if they delivered this virtually, heck yes, let's get that in person. So I say yes to the conference. And I say yes to the conference. First of all, I think that was actually one of the very first few real estate conferences that I went to. As I was sharing, I was a scientist. When I went to Full Multifamily Live, I was still working as a scientist and I was going to science conferences, but this was one of my very first real estate conferences. And one thing that I don't think I've shared yet is like, I'm actually an introvert. I am an introvert. I love hearing people's stories and having people connection. But if you threw me in a party, I'm going to be around the food. Like that's where you're going to find me, around the food, all around,
food too.
Yeah, like where things are coming from, right? So as an introvert, that was kind of a scary step to like step into, to go into, a conference, brand new conference that I just, brand new real estate that I just don't quite familiar with, and then be surrounded by people that I also just don't know. At that point, I don't think I knew anyone besides you, right? In the multifamily live world. And that conference completely blew my mind. I was so scared of like, hey, how do I talk to people? Like, right? Like here I am in a room full of people, full of real estate investors. Like, how do I talk to them? Like, how do I even start this conversation? And at that Multifamily Live event, you guys have this like superheroes powers. So you guys have that icebreaker set up for us. So it was so cool to walk around and actually talk to people and not just like, hey, how are you? What do you do? Have that boring conversation, but like, hey, what's your superpower? And that just started the conversation. So I built so many relationships from that conference. And then I say yes to joining the community because I knew there's always cultures in every community, right? And the culture of Seven Figures Multifamily was where I wanted to be. This very nurturing community, very supportive. And everyone is truly, I really feel like everyone is looking out for one another, really want to share that thought that I mentioned, that people can reach back and help people behind, and then also reach forward and get help. So that like helping different people at different stage of their journey was truly spectacular for me to be a part of. And yeah, I can't believe it's just coming on to 1 year. And you asked about that first syndication deal.
So much done in the year. It's
oh my gosh,
incredible. Tell everyone about it.
Oh, so Multifamily last year was July. So as I mentioned, I was still at my W-2 at that point. And as a part of the community, we have multiple events throughout the years, right? So the next event was August. And just between July and August, I left my W-2. The very last day of my W-2, we got under contract on a 42-unit online foreclosure auction on my very last day of my W-2. And then the next day, I flew out to the member event. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't even think of an even more perfect timeline, because at that event, I was meeting with all the members and I was like, hey, I need help with this. Like, we got to close this deal in 35 days. This is what I need help with, like this and this and that and this. I was talking to you. I was talking to Jason, Chad, all other members. And it was like a crash course, right? And this is what I love about it, because I could be just learning things from books. I could be listening to podcasts, right? All that was really helping me with the knowledge. But when you learn a lot is, I think, when you're putting things in action, right? We got this 42 unit under contract. We got to close within 35 days. Here's all the things that we need help with. And so during that month, I was very active on the Facebook community. Hey guys, I need this, I need that, I need this. And you guys deliver. You guys was like, yeah, this, that, yes, yes. So I was growing so much just within that 35 days than I was from all the books and podcasts and stuff I read before. So yeah, we closed that 42 unit in 35 days. We syndicate that in 35 days, got all the documents together, raised all the capital we needed.
What was the capital raise for that?
We raised 1.2 million in that 35 days. And yeah, and then we have been going really strong on construction and turning over all 42 units at a time. One thing I didn't share was that 42 unit, I shared that it was through an online foreclosure auction. Mm-hmm. We came in with an instant 1.2 million in equity from that deal, like first deal of the bat. And we're like, yeah, we got to get this done. So yeah, that was a very exciting journey for all of us. And it was quite a growing experience for all of us to know that we can put all this together in 35 days.
My face hurts from smiling so much. My heart is so happy because I remember that time period. You had just joined us and all of a sudden you had this under contract and it was go time. And the thing is, because you were able to surround yourself with people who knew what they were doing and knew the problems that you might have to face, it became just, I don't want to call it easier, but now you had a family to depend on. So what's next? What's next for you? What is your heart calling you to do?
I love that question. So I left my job because I reached my financial freedom through multifamily investing. And so that has been the question, right? Like, what's next? Like, what do I do now that I can do anything my heart desires, right? And as an immigrant, I really want to help other immigrants grow their American dream through investing in real estate in the US. So that has been what I have been focusing on, sharing a lot of information. I'm really out to change the narrative of who gets to own real estate in the US. Like, I really want people like you and me, like people like us, good people, to own real estate in the US. And multifamily syndication is such a great model to really help one another leverage other people's, right? Really leverage their time, their experience, and actually become an owner of an asset, right? So when I share with a lot of people about real estate investing, I think everyone can see the benefits. What often stops people is that time, that steep learning curve, and like that knowledge, right? And that community. So what I'm really out to help is I've been focusing a lot of my effort on education, a lot of sharing what's available and sharing the knowledge that I have learned both from talking to other people and from my own experience. When I talk to a lot of immigrants, as I share, I don't think a lot of people don't know that even like mortgage existed, because the system is just very different back home for a lot of people. There's also a lot of, often, as I found out, when I start investing in real estate, there's a lot of restriction in the lending environment, a lot of regulation that prevent immigrants from actually invest in real estate. So I really want to create an opportunity for people to break through all of that and be able to build their wealth. I was taught, to go to a good school, get a good degree, go out, get a good job. And it seems just like life kind of stops there. Like, I got a good job as a scientist, and then it was like now what? Like, do I just keep working? And like, what about life, right? What about time spent with the people you love? And And so that's what I'm out to share, that like, hey guys, this is available. Like the American dream doesn't stop at like getting a good job and, you know, buying a house and settle down. The American dream include you calling the shots on every single thing you want to do with your life, whether that is staying at a W-2 that is fulfilling, or just taking the time to go home and like visit home across the world and don't have to go back within a week. Because if anyone have taken that flight across the world from home, they will experience like, hey, that jet lag takes about 2 or 3 days in front, 2 or 3 days at the back end, and all of a sudden you're like out of time. So this is where I think that financial freedom can really help people just have more fulfillment in their life about what they want to do with their life. So yeah, long answer, but clearly I've been like really trying to think about it. Okay, like what is it that I want to do now that I can do anything? So yeah, really truly share that information, helping people get into real estate, how people grow their wealth through real estate is that, you know, where my heart desires now.
I love that. That makes my heart so happy. And before I let you go, Yang, I want you to talk a little bit more about how you are jumping into seven-figure multifamily as a coach.
Gosh, yes. So Pili gave me a call, and that was one of a very exciting, happy calls that I got. I love the community. I truly, you know, what I share is I truly love the members of the community. And this start from you guys, right? You guys, you, Jason, Chad, Bill, you guys set the tones of what the culture of seven-figure multifamily looks like. And so that's the part of the culture that I really want to be of. And not just, you know, I'm always so excited to share, right? As I share with you, when I first started, I was crying a lot because I was by myself. I didn't know I could reach out for help. And so me having that experience really propelled me on help, you know, why I want to be a coach, right? I want to be available for people to be like, hey, even if you just need someone to bounce ideas off, like, hey, 5 minutes, tell me all that worst fears that are coming up for you that is stopping you from taking this next action. Like, I'm yours. Like, just tell me, no judgment zone, and then we can definitely go up to the next step, right? But that's what I want to provide for the community. I really want to be able to be there to help them. And one thing I've been really focused a lot on is branding, marketing, content creation, education, right? All of that is truly education. So what I'm looking to help the community with is how do you build your brand? How do you attract people that exactly who you want to attract, that you're so excited to work with, who are also so excited to work with you? How can you do all of that? Because as you know, right, syndication is relationships, right? You taught me that relationship built to is partnership, right? So how do you build yourself so that you can attract that right relationship, that right partnership, and you can just be exactly who you are and just exactly how things you want to be, and people would come to you, and that's just exactly who you want to be in your circle. So that's a part of what I really want to help people with, building their brand, building their message, and how to then deliver this message and be true to who they want to be.
Oh, Yang, I cannot wait to work with you further. If anyone that's listening to this, and I know you all want this, please let us all know how to get a hold of you. If they want to know more about your investments and they know more about you and see how you can help them more and lift them up into any type of real estate that they really want to get into.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I am on Instagram at that salsa investor, salsa as in dance. We haven't got to chat about it, but I'm a competitive salsa dancer. So that's one of my big hobbies. So you can find me at that salsa investor on Instagram, Facebook. My website is onerivercapital.com with one spell out, ONE. So again, that is onerivercapital.com. I love to chat. I love to connect with people and hear people's stories. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Feel free to, if I can help with anything, I would love to.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today, Yang. And for everyone that's listening, have the best day. Have a day filled with love, aloha, and so much peace. And we will talk to you later. Aloha.
Bye.